Hey YouTube, wanted to make a hobby video telling you all what I've been working on the past couple of weeks. And I wanted to tell you some of my tabletop goals that I've got coming up for the month of July. And possibly some game related stuff that I got going on for the month of July. So let's start by talking about what I've had on my desk for the past couple of weeks. And I have been meaning to get paint on forever, and I've just been kind of putting off and putting off. One of those things is a batch of Republic Commandos that I have yet to paint up, an Ogre Samurai that I got started on, and a bunch of World War II soldiers for the tabletop game Bolt Action, which I've only mentioned a few times on this channel. Eventually I will get around to doing like a battle report or maybe like a tutorial type video on it, but for now you're just going to kind of see it in passing through miniatures I'm working on during my hobby hours. These Republic Commandos were part of that batch that I prepped a while ago and I talked about during the part 1 painting Republic Commandos video. And I also worked on a little bit during the live stream. These guys didn't get any paint on them during the live stream or my demo video. So we had to go in, clean up the blacks, clean up the whites, put on the blues, get a little bit of red and a couple of like the little techie buttons and laser doodads that they got. And then do like a couple of highlight colors for the buttons and the blues, do an ink on the white, and then re-highlight it. And that is something that I want to go back and do. I gotta re-ink them one more time in a couple of these white spots, and then go back in and give it another highlight. So they probably got like another like 30 minutes of labor left in them at this stage, but I think they're looking pretty good for where they're at right now. And I am quite excited to get that last 30 minutes in and wrap up that project. Have another completed squad of the Commandos. I've seen a lot of people in the Legion groups taking 3 units of these in the tabletop game, and I don't play Republic too much. One of my buddies even refuses to play against the Republic because he does not like when he gets a fully synergized fire supporting clone volley that deletes his squads. He tends not to enjoy that in the game of Legion. So I don't even know when I'm going to actually get to playtest these guys, but I've been reading a lot of stuff, watching a couple of battle reports, and they seem pretty strong. So I'm excited to get that going. It seems like their ability to, I don't remember the exact word right now, but to claim like a key position area, they put like a token down on the battlefield before the game begins. That ability seems very, very strong for them. And you can synergize getting them in at the right place at the right time with their range limitations. They can be super strong. Again, at least from what I've seen so far, they are a new unit, so people might figure out how to hard counter them in a month or so. You never know. Moving on to the next thing I did a very brief live stream on. It was kind of spur of the moment. Was an Ogre Samurai. These guys have also been, I have a squad of 4 of them, I should say. These guys have been sitting on my desk for a long, long time. And it's kind of this side passion project I've had with my ogres for a while now. Slowly building up a little samurai collection of them within like my main horde of ogres. And yeah, this guy came out pretty well. I was happy with the progress I made on the live stream. He kind of started pretty sloppy, and I showed like kind of how to clean everything up and make him look presentable. And by the end of the live stream, he was looking pretty good. I afterwards went in, did some more highlighting on him. I think I had to like add the metals and a couple of like rope textures and stuff to this guy that I didn't really do in the live stream. I know I had to do the base on him. Base still needs work, but I just wanted to like get the base textures and everything on there first. So he'll be coming along a bit. I didn't do anything for his banner yet. His sword needs some golds. Same with the sword on his belt. So yeah, there's a couple of little things I still need to do with this guy, but again, kind of like those clones, like probably 30 minutes of work kind of still left in him, and then he's probably done. Depending on what I do with the banner. If I do something really dramatic, maybe that'll take a long time, but not too much left on this guy. Depending on how heavy the snow is on his base, I might put like a little bit of snow on him, but we'll see. Sometimes I like doing that. Sometimes I like to have all the snow shaken off him. The final thing sitting on my desk that I managed to chip away at here was the Bolt Action starter set. I'm drawing a blank on what the actual name of the starter box was, but it's the one that's between the Afrika Korps and the Desert Rats. So yeah, respectively, we got the Germans and the British here fighting in the deserts of Africa during World War II. I have gotten to try a bit of Bolt Action, and obviously I've felt the impact of the creation of Bolt Action and many other tabletop games I enjoy. But I have not actually ever owned an army or painted any of the miniatures, so these were actually more so test miniatures. I just wanted to see like how kind of brief and quick I could be to get like good results, what kind of colors I needed to differentiate the British from the Germans, so like also kind of looking at uniforms, seeing like what kind of colors I needed to match those, and yeah, kind of just learning a bit of the history and trying to capture that in the paint job. I think we did a pretty good job. I would like to say that the German's machine gun, unfortunately, the bit fell off before I started doing the painting, and I only noticed it afterwards, so I gotta kind of go back in there and give it an ink and a bit of love and care. I'm sure it sticks out in the pictures here, but other than that, these guys are looking pretty good. I could definitely go in and do a lot of cleanup work on them, but I have like a box of like 30 or 40 of these guys total, and I really need to get them all done. It's kind of a personal goal that I set before the summer ends to get this whole starter box painted up and finished and play a game against my dad, who's always been a bit of a fan of like World War II history. This is like one of the few tabletop games I feel like I can actually sell them on, so I really want to just try to get some paint on all the miniatures, make sure they're not super fancy, but like, you know, when you put it on the table and you're kind of looking from that tabletop distance, that they look really cool. And yeah, hopefully get that game in with them before the summer ends. So I have more hobby stuff to talk about, but it requires context. Context that can only be given by telling you what kind of games we got planned for the month of July. We are going to be starting up a Warhammer The Old World League set in Lustria. I think we have about 6 or 7 players that are committed at the moment. Each army will be 500 points and receive small upgrades after they play each of their battles. We're going to have a big league data pool where everyone reports their wins and losses and objectives completed after each game. And I'm hoping to share all these stats and give an actual detailed breakdown of how the league's going to work in another YouTube video. I'll be releasing that soon. But yeah, we're very excited to get that going. Everyone's kind of trying to get some paint on their armies. Some people are starting up new armies. And we also have a bit of a terrain-related hobby goal for the league, and that's going to bring us into the next segment here of our little hobby talk video. So it's completely optional, but we are going to be running a painting challenge and a terrain challenge for this league. And any of the players that want to take on the challenge basically submit like a before photo of like early stages of whatever project they're attempting, and then an after photo. And I'll try to get all of those also posted here on YouTube so you guys can see everything going on for this league. And you'll be seeing basically the piece of terrain that I'm going to be making for this challenge right now. I decided to do a tropical brew house tavern kind of on the coastline. And obviously there's a big dragged up corpse of some kind of fish that's underneath the tavern. It's supposed to be a shark. I don't know if that comes across or not, but yeah, it's supposed to be like some big great white shark that got dragged up onto the coast. I figured whoever first landed on these shores did battle with this shark, and it tore apart the ship, but they managed to kill it, and as they kind of dragged the corpse and their ship onto the shore, they built this tavern out of the remains of their ship and maybe some of the remains of this shark as well. And I'm sure they took some trophies. It's very early on. I still have a lot of construction work to obviously do with this thing. And yeah, it's going to transform quite a bit, I think, from the next time I talk about it in a video. But I still think it would be cool to see the early on stages of kind of scratch building this piece of terrain, and that's a big part of the challenge. You know, we're not 3D printing pieces of like terrain here. We're kind of just building things from literal just scrap pieces of whatever we can find. Maybe a couple of like popsicle sticks and lollipop sticks as well are also really good. I think we used a couple of those. Torn up boxes, sand, a bit of pink foam, like kind of your classic DIY terrain stuff here. Obviously, I still need to make a roof for the tavern. I kind of have some crudely made foundation for how I'm going to like lay the roof out. I think I'm going to do like a palm tree kind of roofing or some kind of like thatch roofing. I'm not quite sure yet, but it's going to be plant-based, I can tell you that much. I want to make some palm trees that I'm going to put like around the sides of the tavern. And I gotta do like a ton more rope and like kind of green stuff effects around it. I have to actually finish the like, I don't know what you would call it, the brew silo thing in the back. Probably want to do some more piping and stuff related to the actual brew keg and all that stuff. I also want the roof to come off so I can do like a couple of little NPC guys inside the tavern, like serving out drinks, maybe cooking up some food. And I'm sure there's tons more props relating to that I'm going to put all over this thing. Obviously, I want to do some water effect too, where you kind of see the pink foam on the side. That's supposed to be the coastline. And yeah, I think that's most of like the additions I want to make. Oh, I also want to put like some more weapons and stuff kind of embedded into the skeleton of the shark. Telling like the tale of like that battle that happened long ago, and they're probably going to be all like rusted away and stuff, but yeah, I want to put like bolts, arrows, swords, and axes and all that stuff kind of lodged into that thing, telling the tale of an epic battle from long ago. But that's going to be about it for what I've been working on and what I'm going to be working on in the month of July. I don't have any photos of this, but my 500-point army that I plan on running in this league, currently, I mean, I might flop here and change my army at the last minute, but currently, I'm leaning pretty heavily towards playing a Dwarf Slayer-themed army. I have a good amount of the Slayers, but I might be running a Bolt Thrower and some Dwarf Rangers in the army, and I don't have either of those miniatures, and I wanted them to kind of reflect the Slayer theme of the army. I'm also leaning very heavily towards a long-drawn pirate kind of Slayer theme for all the guys in the army, so that might kind of be reflected in the Rangers and the Bolt Thrower crew. We'll have to figure out how we're going to do that. But I want to get the terrain kind of wrapped up and a couple of other things that I've been having sit on my desk, like those clone commandos. The last couple of minutes I need to put into those, and that Ogre Samurai. I want to get those things wrapped up. Then we're going to work on the Slayers, and hopefully everything will be completed before the end of July and the conclusion of the league. Also just want to include it in here because it took up a good chunk of my time in the past month. I also made another one of those World of Warcraft character displays, and I have some little kind of through the process shots here. I've done shorts explaining on how I make these, so I won't bother repeating myself in this video, but for anyone that thinks they're cool and wanted to see what I've been kind of working on the side, check it out. The theme of this one was an orc rogue that wanted to be skulking through Blackrock Mountain, or Blackrock Depth, I can't quite remember what it's called. But it's like the end game place with all the level 60 raids and dungeons for like vanilla WoW. And he wanted to be in that mountain and like have a base kind of conveying the theme of that. So I did like a, what they call Dark Iron Dwarf that's been defeated on the base, and a bunch of lava and like some spikes that are kind of commonly found within the dungeons. And yeah, I think I did a pretty good job capturing the theme and the weapons and armor and all the little details that were associated with the character. He was very happy with it. I already shipped it off to him, and he already took a look at it, bought a nice fancy case for it. Told me he was extremely happy with the final results here, so that always warms my heart, and it was a fun project to work on. And that'll pretty much conclude all the tabletop stuff I've been working on this week. Keep an eye out for a video that will be explaining how the league's going to be working. I don't plan on like putting too many custom like rules in or anything like that. We're going to be playing it pretty much straight from the book. But there are a couple of things I do need to tweak because I could be off on this. It's just off the top of my head. But I think in like a standard game of Warhammer, for example, if the point in difference between the two players is 200 points or less, it's considered a draw. And obviously at 500 points, I think that's going to be a lot of the games we're going to play. So we might tweak the point in difference, for example, on that, make it like 100 or 150, something like that. So just, there's still a good chance that there's a draw, but like, not half of the games that we're going to be reporting here come out as a draw. And I'll be sure to post all the stipulations and stuff regarding that. But again, we plan on playing pretty close to the rule book. Keep an eye out for that video. If the league that I'm talking about has sparked your interest, I'm definitely going to be posting a lot of content relating to it and like battle reports and stuff. So you can expect to be seeing a lot of that for the month of July, or possibly the month after, because I might be a little bit too involved trying to operate the event and everything. We'll have to see how free my time is, but yeah, that's going to be everything, folks. Have a great day. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.